Good evening, and welcome all to the 2022 combined Hayward-Gibbes Middle School and Eau Claire High School Orchestra Spring Concert. My name is Tyler Henderson, and it is an absolute privilege and pleasure to be in my 8th year of teaching at Hayward-Gibbes Middle School on A days and Eau Claire High School on B days. Really, I love what I do. The variety of teaching 6th through 12th graders certainly keeps me on my toes, and what could be more fun than teaching music all day, every day? Well, almost every day. The weekends and summers offer pretty cool perks to being a teacher as well. I say that somewhat jokingly because most people understand that teachers who love what they do are always planning new ways to reach the students they teach. Even during weekends and summer vacation, the dedicated teacher is always looking for inspiration and new ways to motivate students. In thinking of my remarks to make this evening, I happened upon a bit of writer's block, or speaker's block, I guess I should say. Or would it be called writer's block since I have to have my notes written down out of fear I will get up here and not know what to say? But I digress. Now I remember. In thinking of important matters to speak of before our performance this evening, I wanted to talk about the important role that parents play in the lives of young musicians. You see, when I was growing up, my dad had been a very good athlete back in his high school years. Specifically, very good at basketball, but either I didn't get those genes or it just wasn't in the cards for me because basketball, while I enjoy watching the game be played very much, definitely wasn't my strong suit. My dad tried and tried to get me to love the game just as much as he did and be able to play as well as he did. However, I just wasn't made like that. Although I did display a particular affinity for music, beginning to sing along with the radio at an early age and generally enjoying music very much more than basketball, as a matter of fact. In fact, one of my best childhood memories is sitting at the piano with my maternal grandmother as she played piano and sang old gospel hymns and tunes. She could never read music, but could play the piano very well by ear, being able to hear tunes sang and then pick them out on the piano, melody and harmony. I would try and bang along on the keys with her, although not really knowing what I was doing, but nevertheless enjoying it very much. Although it turned out I would choose the viola as my instrument as an 11-year-old in 6th grade beginning orchestra, and eventually learned to play the violin, cello, and bass as well later on, I credit my grandmother allowing me to sit at the piano with her and sing some beautiful gospel tunes as what initiated my appreciation and love of music. I saw what joy it brought her and noticed in turn that it made me incredibly happy to sing and play along with her. So, back to my dad. The great thing is that once he noticed I was by no means going to be a basketball star, I would say this would have been round about the 5th grade, by the way. He allowed me to go my own way and choose something I knew I wanted to do as soon as I heard about it. Joined the orchestra as it was the first year they had ever had one at my middle school, Chesney Middle School in Spartanburg County, District 2. This was back in fall 1998, but who's counting? Once you get over 30, the kids call you old anyways. Ain't that right? Yeah. What's old? 30? Okay. 30. I'm 34. Am I old? That's old, right? Y'all call that old. Okay. But back to the story, and the whole reason I'm telling this story is that it would have been all too easy for my dad to try and force his love of basketball on me, pressure me to join the team and go to daily practices and whatnot, but he learned something earlier that it took me at least a couple years of teaching to learn. As an orchestra teacher, I don't make these students do anything. They choose to be in orchestra, and it is not required, and that is a beautiful thing. Sure, I have had some students try it out for a year or so and decide it's not their thing, and that is perfectly fine. Actually, that makes me happy when someone decides to go their own way, just as I did and my dad allowed me to do. In fact, a quote by writer Henry David Thoreau that my dad shared with me has now become one of my favorite quotes. If a man does not keep pace with his companions, perhaps it is because he hears a different drummer. Let him step to the music which he hears, however measured or far away, end quote. I love that quote to this day. But bringing it back around to the students you see on stage before you tonight, there is no doubt in my mind that every one of them enjoys practicing and playing their instruments, some more and some less, of course, but they all have demonstrated innate talent and the ability to develop that talent through hard work individually and as a musical ensemble. So back to the parents. Thank you so much for encouraging your child to learn a musical instrument. Honestly, it has been one of the best decisions I ever made to learn an instrument and has brought me countless moments of joy and fulfillment. Now I find it even more fulfilling and joyful to teach music to these wonderful Gibbes Middle School and Eau Claire High School students. Music has also been a powerful force of good in my own life, providing a pathway of hope through some of the dark times that we all inevitably encounter in life. Music has made my life all the better, and I'm grateful I get to share that enthusiasm with my students. So my mom would be very frustrated with me if I didn't mention her as well, so I have a funny story, quick story about her. In the 9th grade, I joined a youth symphony, Palmetto Youth Orchestra, and was very excited to invite my mom to our first concert. My favorite piece we were playing was the finale or last movement of Antonin Dvorak's Symphony No. 9 in E minor, subtitled From the New World. So the big day of the concert comes, and I believe we were playing my favorite piece after intermission and at the end of the second half of the concert. Well, after the concert, I was looking all around for my mom and eventually figured out she wasn't there, which confused me because initially she was there because I had spoken to her before the concert. She had simply never been to an orchestra concert before, didn't think to get or read the program, and had left during intermission thinking it was the end of the concert. Don't worry, my dad had brought me to the concert, so I did have a way home. Although that first symphony orchestra concert ended with me in tears over my missing mom, she learned and never made the mistake of leaving during intermission again, and just like my dad, became extremely supportive of my involvement in music and playing viola. My point is this: my parents didn't necessarily understand or relate to my love of classical music and string playing at first, but once they understood that was what I enjoyed and what motivated me, what made me love coming to school, they got on board really quick. One quick note, there will be an award ceremony at the end of the program tonight, so please everyone, do not leave until all awards have been given out and all winners have been recognized. Parents, thank you for accepting your kids as they are, loving them unconditionally, and encouraging their interests and talents, though they may not always be the same as your own interests and talents. So, it is with that thankfulness and gratefulness that my students and I dedicate this 2022 spring concert to you, the parents. Now, I will stop yapping my jaw and let's get this show on the road. Behold, the combined orchestra of Hayward Gibbes Middle School and Eau Claire High School. Hope you enjoy.
Leviathan, in words of the composer Timothy J. Isham, depicts the legendary monster Leviathan, ancient scourge of the seas. Leviathan is a fearsome sea serpent, noted in both mythology and theology. Specifically, Leviathan is referenced in a few of the books from the Hebrew Bible, such as Psalms, Book of Job, Isaiah, and Amos. In his notes to the conductor for Leviathan, composer Timothy J. Isham mentions a particular interest in the repeated motif with the scale pattern rising from E to B, then jumping down a third to G. Listen for this melody as it is played around by all instrument sections in Leviathan. In regards to our next selection, Breakbeat, the composer of the piece, Doug Spata, states, "Slide pizzicato melodies flow over a steady stomp and clap groove in this exciting selection. A driving tempo, energizing rhythms, foot stomps, hand claps, and terse dynamics make this a thrilling yet highly playable work for string orchestra. Unison rhythms greatly enhance the intensity. Although all notes are performed pizzicato, this one will really make your hands clap. This mysterious work for string players evokes feelings of enchantment and intrigue in a deep, dark forest. Composer Eric B. Davis states, within the melody, cello and basses have a fun, short pizzicato passage. All sections of the orchestra have equally interesting parts and are featured on the melody at various points. The next piece, Themes from the New World, is an arrangement of some of the most memorable themes from Romantic-era composer Antonin Dvorak's Symphony No. 9 in E minor, which he subtitled From the New World. The arranger of Dvorak's themes in this piece, Doug Adams, writes in his program notes, Antonin Dvorak was born on September 8, 1841, near Prague, in today's Czech Republic. An accomplished performer and composer, he became the director of the National Conservatory of Music in New York City in 1892. It was during this tenure that he wrote his most popular work, Symphony No. 9, from the New World. During his stay in the United States, Dvorak became captivated by the music of African Americans as well as Native Americans. The second movement of his New World Symphony, quoted in the middle section of the arrangement about to be played, references the African American spiritual, Going Home. The ECH Orchestra will now perform a piece called Dizzy Digits by composer Richard Meyer. This piece is a fun, perpetual motion style selection that is meant to improve musicians' fingers dexterity as well as note reading skills. Digits is another word for fingers, and in the case of this piece, the constant motion of the left hand changing notes is what dizzy digits refers to. see pictures, is comprised of two movements. The first movement is slower and in 3/4 time signature, whereas the second movement is fast and written in 4/4 time signature. The name of the first movement is The Gentle Boats at Port Fairy, and the name of the second movement is Storm Over the 12 Apostles. Port Fairy and the 12 Apostles are two of the most picturesque places in Australia. The 12 Apostles are a set of huge rock formations off the Australian coast. The first movement, The Gentle Boats at Port Fairy, reflects the village's peaceful ambiance of bluestone cottages, rock walls, and fishing boats. Wistful melodies are shared by all sections of the ensemble. In contrast, the second movement, Storm Over the 12 Apostles, is an energetic work that depicts the fury of Mother Nature unleashed on the extraordinary stone formations that rise up from the ocean on the southern coast. In Celebration March, our next piece, we have another piece composed by Timothy J. Isham, the composer of Leviathan. In his performance notes for Celebration March, Timothy J. Isham remarks, "A lighthearted Sousa-style march that will help your ensemble sound impressive and feel confident." When he says Sousa-style march in his description, he is referring John Philip Sousa, an American composer and conductor of the late Romantic era, known primarily for his military marches, and most famous of which is The Stars and Stripes Forever. Celebration March is a fun and lighthearted section written in the style of a Sousa march in which each instrumental section is featured prominently. The Ascent, written by Tanner Otto, is an original work that features upbeat driving rhythms and beautiful melodies. A triumphant ostinato, or repeated rhythmic pattern, reappears throughout the piece, which is ideal for working on staccato bowing and finger patterns in A minor and C major. In his program notes for The Ascent, composer Tanner Otto states, "The Ascent is influenced by a folk tune from the Andes region of South America. The triumphant opening starts off the trek to the top of the mountain. Our folk tune is passed between all of the instruments before transitioning into a new melody. Before long, the weather turns cold and hope is dwindling. A soaring cello melody evokes the harsh conditions on the way to the top before being passed to the violins. As the summit comes into view, the music grows with optimism, and our triumphant theme returns to end the piece. And now, The Ascent by Tanner Otto." Sinfonia in D major was written by Johann Christian Bach, one of the 10 children of his more famous father, Johann Sebastian Bach. Johann Christian Bach's Sinfonia in D major is arranged here by Jim Palmer. Although Johann Christian Bach is one of the 7 sons of Johann Sebastian Bach, their music sounds quite different. The father, Johann Sebastian Bach, is without a doubt the foremost composer of the Baroque period of music. However, his son, Johann Christian Bach, was composing music during the classical period. Therefore, his music is more similar to Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, a contemporary and friend of Johann Christian Bach, the less famous son. Although this piece was composed by a composer from Argentina, Nicolas Repetto, it sounds like an American country barn dance, a joyous, folksy dance where everyone has a stomping good time. In the words of the composer of Moonglade, Tyler Akari, a moonglade is a circular reflection of the moon on a body of water. In forests, small ponds light up with an ethereal brilliance in the middle of the night, in the moment the moon hits the water's surface just right. Delicate and beautiful, this beacon is a guiding light for animals and wayward travelers navigating the dark woods. I had this imagery dancing in my mind throughout the creation of this work. In every way, I want this piece to convey that magical mystery that surrounds things rarely seen and told of only in folklore.
Now, if we could get a spotlight over here, and I would like all of my students to come over here and stand up on this side of the stage. Come on, y'all. The hard part's over. It's okay. Great. I tell you, it is so hot in here, and I was very sweaty, and I was afraid I was going to slip off that instrument when I was doing that. I mean, it is hot. Is it not a record high temperature today, I think it was? Wow. It's crazy. All right. Okay, so now we have the awards ceremony portion of the evening, the last portion of the evening. And I have 18 awards here to give out. Like I said, I am exceedingly proud of my Gibbes Middle School and my Eau Claire High School students. I don't think I can say it enough. And I hope they really enjoy receiving these awards as much as I enjoyed giving them to them. So I think we will start off with something that occurred at an earlier point in the year. Every fall, typically the first Saturday in October, I have a handful of students audition for what is called SCMEA, that stands for South Carolina Music Educator Association Region Orchestra. And so when they audition for Region Orchestra, they're not only competing against other students in Richland 1 for placement into the Region Orchestra, but students all across the Midlands region, as you might assume with a name like Region Orchestra. So, you know, they're also competing against Richland 2, Lexington Richland 5, Lexington 1, Lexington 2, all that good stuff. So I had two students audition for, or successfully audition for Region Orchestra this year and get into Region Orchestra. And those two students are, don't walk up yet until I have time to read this. Those two students are Vincent Hernandez Garcia and Erica Spencer. It says on the award, which is in the shape of our lovely state, South Carolina, since it's SCMEA Region Orchestra I'm awarding them for. It says, in recognition of your successful audition for an excellent music contribution to the Fall 2021 SCMEA Midlands Region Orchestra, Eau Claire High School, May 19th, 2022. So let me have Vincent and Erica Spencer come up, please. Thank you. Get that one, Erica. Now come over here, let's take a picture. Let's take a picture real quick. Come take a picture. You know you want one. All right. Say Region Orchestra.
Region Orchestra.
All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm trying not to be one of those people that claps with the microphone in my hand and blows everybody's eardrums out. Sorry. All right. So then the next award I have to give out is kind of an award for high school students that I just wanted to show my general appreciation for them. They may not have had the chance to audition for Region Orchestra and or District Honor Orchestra this year, but they have been right where I need them to be, preparing the music I need them to play, and just being generally all around really good high school musicians. So those three recipients, and let me read it again before you come up here, would be Jeffrey Argueta, Erica Holmes, and Deasia Mayers. This says, it tells what instrument they play. So in the case of Jeffrey, it says cello and bass, since he's a multi-instrumentalist. Thank you for being a dedicated member of the Eau Claire High School Orchestra, Eau Claire High School, May 19th, 2022. And so Jeffrey, Erica, and Deasia, come grab your awards, please, and let's take a picture, shall we? So somebody get on this side of me. Want to? Okay. All right. Scooch in. All right. Ready? Right there. We're looking at that one. Okay. Got it? Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. And next, I have some awards for my middle schoolers. Some of them were easier to get here tonight, and some of them were very difficult to get here tonight, but nevertheless, I think they all enjoyed themselves once they got here. So I'm equally proud of them all, and I'm going to be awarding 5 of my Gibbes Middle School students, Kiara Etheridge, Bethany Hopkins, Amaya Howard, Danica Giannis, and Euridia Valdivinos Caros. How do I say it? Giannis? Okay, sorry, I'm so sorry. All right, and this says, thank you for being a dedicated member of the Gibbes Middle School Eagle Orchestra. Here you go, Kiara. All right, Bethany. Danica Jenis. Okay, Danica Jenis. All right, Maya, Danica. And this is glass. It'll break y'all, so be careful. Let's take a picture. All right, so 3 on one side and 2 on my other side, please. And the camera's going to be right there, okay? Right there. Wave your hand, Ashley, so they can see. Okay. Spread out a little bit so we all get in it. Spread out some. All right. All right. You ready? Okay. All right. You good? Okay. Thank you. All right. Next, we have... I need to use the microphone, don't I? Next, we have awards for students that successfully auditioned for, and not only successfully auditioned for, but also spent the 2 days practicing all the music with a concert at the end of the second day, District Honor Orchestra. So last year, due to COVID, we didn't get to have a District Honor Orchestra. I don't know, that was the first time in a long time that we didn't do it for 1 year, but we were back in the habit this year, so to speak, of doing District Honor Orchestra. And it says, in recognition of your successful audition for an excellent musical contribution to the 2022 Richland 1 District Honor Orchestra, Eau Claire High School, May 19, 2022. And we have Vincent Hernandez Garcia. He was in the first violin section. Stay up here. Emily Paz Galan, second violin. Michelle Quintanilla Yanez, second violin. Cassandra Rock Cruz, second violin. And Erica Spencer, viola. All right, so actually, can we come over here this time? We got too many people now. All right, so y'all want to get on that side of me? Okay. All right. Let's scooch over a little bit more. A little more that way. Okay, there we go. All right, thank you. And now this is a very special award, just like all the others. She was my MC, or Mistress of Ceremonies, last year as well as this year, giving us a brief description about each of the pieces beforehand, so you know kind of what all the pieces are about and what the composers had in mind before they composed the pieces. And this is a very special student to me, Marissa Reed. She has been my student every school year since the 6th grade at Gibbes, all the way through. I'm not gonna cry. She's been my student, yes, since the 6th grade at Gibbes, all the way through the current year, her 12th grade year at Eau Claire High School. So this is Marissa Reed, violinist. Thanks for your dedication to orchestra throughout your middle and high school years. Eau Claire High School, May 19th, 2022. Marissa. There you go. And right there. There's Ashley. All right. Okay, and now for the big awards. All right, so let's see. There was one middle schooler. I had 6 here this evening. There was one that has not gotten an award, but he's about to get a big one. This is the most outstanding Gibbes Middle School Eagle Orchestra member. And this student always, always, always has a positive attitude. Even when on the 1 or 2 occasions where he's not been feeling well, he still has a very positive attitude and is just always willing to get down to work and ask me really good questions to help me teach him. So he's a very teachable student and just an all-around great guy. And that is Jalen Guess Viola. Where's he at? Okay. There you go. All right, so. And last but not least, he's only gotten 2 awards so far this evening. Vincent Hernandez Garcia, first violin, most outstanding Eau Claire High School orchestra member. He has performed in every single performance we've had this year. Basically, I can give him like any piece of music and he can play it in like 5.5 minutes. So he figures things out very quickly. We've spent countless hours after school working together to get him in fighting shape for performances, and he likewise just always has an incredibly good attitude and work ethic. And I believe he will be going to Richland Northeast High School next year in District 2. So while that makes me sad, I wish him the best of luck, and I know he'll do great there. They have a great orchestra there as well. So Vincent, here you go. Come get your third and final award. All right, ready? Well, that is all that we have for you this evening, and I don't know about you, but I am completely drenched, so I think I'm good. And wow, the crowd really kind of filled out better than I'd hoped for, so thank you all so much for coming. I hope you have a wonderful evening, a safe trip home, and students, I hope you have a safe and amazing summer vacation, and come back and let's play some more music and do it all again next year. All right, thank you. Thank you. Let's give them all a round of applause again. Woo! Go Shamrocks.